Yo, welcome back to the YouTube channel, people. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today is going to be day number 5. It's going to be all about forging iron discipline. Forging iron discipline. What does forging iron discipline mean? That means we're going to try understand what discipline is really about. Do you understand, people? What is discipline really about? Because a lot of people seem to think that without discipline, you're going to get somewhere, and it doesn't work like that. So far we've gone over 4 days so far. This is going to be day number 5 to the series. We're going to keep pushing, keep grinding. We're going to keep us motivated and moving forward. You get me, people? We're going to keep moving forward, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today. So um the other day we were talking about igniting your journey. Then we spoke about day 2, setting goals. Day number 3 was mastering the candlesticks. It wasn't really that much in depth, but it was something. Day number 4, riding the trends. And then now we're gonna have, like I said, forging iron discipline. Forging iron discipline. Like anything in life, without discipline, you're not gonna get anywhere. And this is just one of those things, that you just need to be able to overcome individually at your own pace. But the quicker you overcome it in life, the more easier life is going to look like, people. The more easier objectives, goals, the things you're trying to strive for, things that you're trying to move towards are going to become much, much more easier. Like, it's just really as simple as that. Without discipline, you can forget about, getting that dream car you're trying to get, getting that dream house you're trying to get for your mom or dad, for yourself. You can forget about flying first class on planes. You can forget about, all of those things. Forget about all of that. Do you know what I mean? Discipline, the foundations behind everything come with a bit of discipline. Like you can go a very, very, very long way, even with a little bit of discipline. Not even so much discipline, just a little, just a little, just a, just a little spice. But like people don't even have a little spice. They got nothing. Do you know what I mean? So right. So anyways, why does discipline matter? Discipline matters in everything, like I said. And trading is just one of those things. Like, it's just literally one of those things that you need to be able to keep right beside you when you're trading. Whilst you're in a trade, not in a trade, thinking about getting into a trade, thinking about exiting in a trade, thinking about, maybe over trading. A lot of these things are going to require you to mentally tap in and really think about, what do I need to really be doing this right now? Do I really need to be putting on a trade right now? Like, do you mean, like, maybe sometimes, when you've collected enough data, you might have different parts of the year where you're like, you know what, this is not really something I need to be doing right now, according to my data X, Y, and Z. Do you know what I mean? So for some people, it's more difficult. For some others, it's like, that you just want to go straight in, go ham. You want to go be doing a mazza. You want to be going all crazy. You want to be, leveraging on flipping 100x on futures. Don't do that. Take, just relax. Just, just relax, okay? Relax. So, um, yes, I mean, it's really like, this is what really separates the winners and the losers, really. This is really what separates the winners and the losers. I learned this really like the hard way. Like, I remember I used to chase down trades. That's something that I used to do all the time. Like, it was something that, you know, at the beginning I used to do more. Now, not as much anymore. Now I just kind of let things come to me rather than trying to chase something that's not for me. Do you get me? And it was like, at the beginning, it was like, why am I taking so many trades? Like, why? I mean, I felt like it was like, I felt egoed. Do you know what I mean? It's like my ego didn't want to accept that all these trades in reality didn't have to be taken. So it's like, I need to get all these trades so I can get as many wins, because that's what matters, as getting, as many W's. But in reality, in trading, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes all you need is just just one single W. One single W, that's all it takes. Just one, and a good one. Just a good one. That's all it takes. So, like, no plan. I lost. I remember. In that part of the phase of my trading journey, it was damn bad. I remember losing like about 5,000 £5,000 back then. It wasn't good. Do you know what I mean? Those, I remember what the biggest trade that I lost, probably chasing a single trade back then, before I started, understanding what this was all about. It was, yeah, it was probably near enough like 1.5k. But it's not much. It's not really that much. I mean, now it's really nothing really, but back then 1.5k done a lot for me. 1.5k allowed me to go out, allowed me to take my allowed me, to go out on dates, on date nights, go cinema, go bowling, go rooftop golf. Do you get me? So back then it was like, that was like bread and butter to me. That was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 1.5k. And it probably is for many of us. I mean, well, for many of you guys that are watching. So, anyways, like the stats that show how many traders fail are about 90%, and that's because they simply lack discipline. They panic, they overtrade, or they quit. It's either one of those three. One of those three. I like to call that the POQ. The POQ. I like to call that the POQ, right? So, panic, overtrading, or quitting. You're going to fall into one of those three categories, and it's really going to come down to your mentality and how consistent and persistent you are with not allowing your emotions to just get the best of you. Because every decision that you make in life is driven by an emotion. And if you let that, ride you out till the end, then you're going to have a hard time. You're going to be working for somebody else, and that's okay. But if you don't want that for yourself, then you need to be able to master all of these things. And, they all come together so that you can really get the foundations in and really build up for the person you're meant to become. Because you know who you're meant to become. You just need somebody like me to tell you, really what it is that is keeping you. It's really, keeping you behind from what you need, what like you are capable of doing. So don't be part of that 90%. 90% of people, honestly, they're just quitters. Honestly, they deserve to be in a 9 to 5, really. And discipline obviously keeps you very much focused, calm, consistent. It's honestly just one of the main foundations that we're gonna have to achieve if we're trying to get to the next videos that are coming up. The other videos that are coming up are gonna require you to be all of the things that previously came before that video. It doesn't mean that you need to have 100% discipline. It just means that you need to have just enough for you to keep pushing. But ideally, the people who actually manage to obtain 100 and push for 100% discipline are the people who are really going to advance more quicker. Those are the people who are actually going to be able to put trades and make real money. I'm not talking about real money like, £50. We're talking about, as soon as you get your, a flipping trading, what's it called, a trading account open, and you get some funding, it's all good. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to think about it this way. Like, when you have a 100k account, all you need is 2% from that 100k account. That's all you need. So it's like, it really comes down, it really comes down to these little things. And you may think that discipline is not important, but it really is. How do you really want to trade? If you don't want to trade like, if you don't want to trade like me, then bro, and you don't need to follow my steps. You don't need to follow what I did to be able to become profitable. You can go your own way and, and have a fair share of, all the things that all the other people had to go through. I'm just trying to cut the road for you so that you so that you are able to become successful more quicker than us, the people, who had no guidance to begin with anyways. At times, you're watching people here and there, and it's just, things are just not making sense. Well, here I am telling you that this is just one of those things, right? how to build discipline, right? How do you build discipline? How do you build discipline? So one simple way of starting is really like, for example, setting a trading schedule that you're able to meet every day, every single week, every month, every year. Maybe your training schedule might change from Q1 to Q4, but a trading schedule does need to be in place. So at the beginning, it doesn't really matter what time of the day you're going to be trading, but what matters is that you just put on a trade. I mean, you just come to you just make it. I mean, you just turn up. That's what really matters. As long as you turn up, I'm proud of you. And every other person who's gone down this road and know what it takes will be proud of you. I will be happy to help those who just turn up. And even if they're not doing all the other things, turning up is what matters. So stick to it, create a schedule, and just stay consistent with it. Don't go over, and don't start earlier. Always start and always stay within the time frame that you're meant to be looking at the charts, and only look at that time frame for the charts. And that's really going to last, a couple weeks to a couple months, and it's not going to be quick. So stay consistent with that, right? For me, it was, at the beginning, it was maybe like, I pushed hard. You know, I was easily looking at the charts for like maybe like 3 to 4 hours in a day, you know. And this was me obviously when I was at work. When I was working at 9 to 5, I used to have my phone, and I used to have obviously trading view on my phone, and you know I'll be behind the counter. I used to be behind the counter in Waitrose, and I used to have my phone like this, and I'll literally be looking. I'll be serving the customers as I'm on my phone and looking at you know the trades I'm putting on, or the chart time I'm looking at for the day. So that was my thing. I'm not recommending that you guys do that, because it's just you shouldn't probably be doing that anyways at work. But that's what worked for me, and I used to put that time in and put that grind in. That was just my thing. And then as soon as I used to get back home, straight to you know straight to it. You don't think there's no time wasting around here. There's no time to be wasted around here, people. And honestly, there's no excuses, but I'm not recommending anyone does that, but I'm just saying there is no excuses. And, at the end of the day, if you feel lazy, then that's on you. That's really, really on you. Just pick a time, honestly, between most likely, like, I used to look at GU primarily. I would really say stick between like 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Try not to go over that time for now anyways. Because there are more things to understand when it comes to trading out of those times. By the way, we're talking about 8 to 7 a.m. Greenwich time when the London market opens. So anyways, you can start with 1 hour, maybe even an hour and a half, 2 hours. It doesn't really matter. Just start with like an hour, and just really just start watching the charts, reviewing trades, and just learning and staying consistent. You can either have a notebook, your phone, can write it down, either of those things, like jot down how that 1 hour went, and that's going to really promote you to motivate you, or push you to stay consistent, because that means that there are other things overlapping with what you need to do. So anyways, I know that you guys are, not everyone's not perfect. Everyone has, a time. Well, everyone goes for a time and a place when they just don't feel like it. They don't feel like doing it. They don't feel like they're motivated enough. They don't feel like this is going to work out. They don't feel like, this is something that is really for them. But that's only the beginning. If I'm honest with you, that's really only the beginning. At the beginning, I was obsessed with just grabbing I was obsessed, if I'm honest with you. I wasn't even, I was so obsessed. It was not even like, it was just unbearable with how obsessed I was. Super obsessed. Like, like in terms of obsession, right? This is one of those things that needs just as much obsession as other things that, that need obsession. Like, if you want to become a Twitch streamer, you want to become somebody successful, you want to start your own business, you believe in this product, or you believe in what your business can do for people as a service, those people are obsessed with their beliefs and dreams. This here, right here, people, trading just needs as much obsession as those things do as well. So I know everyone's capable of doing that. I know everyone's able to push. You have the free will to really push for yourself, because at the end of the day, all of this is not for anyone but yourself. This is all for yourself and for your loved ones, and whoever you may take care of, right? So there are going to be challenges. There are going to be things that you are going to have to overcome individually. Those are things that I cannot, unfortunately, help you exactly with. I can't help every single person do a one-to-one. Maybe for those who are already paying me for one-to-one sessions, I am already doing that. But for the rest of the people who are gonna obviously reach out to me and tell me, "Oh, Brian, how do you do this, Brian? Like, how did you overcome this, and how did you do that?" If I'm going to be honest with you, it really takes time and patience. It's going to take time and patience, and it's going to take time away from your day to really get things down. And it's going to feel overwhelming at the beginning. It's really going to feel overwhelming. But, don't allow those distractions to get in front of what's already, right there. Do you know what I mean? You already know the way, you already know the road that you need to take to be able to get from here to there. So stay focused. Don't allow your emotions to just always drive your location. Some locations are just within reach, but they just require just a little bit of mind power, a bit of mind power. And honestly, it's so worth it. Honestly, it's so worth it. And like, just take it slow so you don't feel overwhelmed. If you're tempted to trade, just literally set a rule for like to only trade only put a trade one time a day. That means people, when I say one time a day, that doesn't mean that you have 4 trading accounts or 5 trading accounts or metaphor, whatever you're trading, and you put one trade on every single account. No, that means you have one trading account and you have one trade available to put on for that day. And I know you're able to put infinite amounts of trades anyways with the demo accounts, because but with just give yourself that one rule. If you find yourself to be somebody who overtrades, rules and systems need to be put in place so that you do not do that. Because if you come onto the market with real money, you're gonna get fucked. Okay, you're gonna get absolutely screwed, and it's not gonna be happy times. Just don't do that. Just do not do that. And really visualize how you're going to go about this. Visualize yourself already doing all of this, because you already know you're capable of doing all of this. Like, just imagine sticking to a schedule, for example, like feeling control of your life, feeling control of your destination, feeling control of what's really meant to happen with your life. I remember going through a tough time when I was way younger, and I remember going through something, and I felt like shit was out of control. For some time I felt like, what, like, things are out of my control, and for the most part things are going to be out of control. But don't focus so much on what you can't control, and focus more on what you can control. I can everyone, like the average human most humans are always thinking about negative things for the most part. We have like thousands and thousands of thoughts and things that go through our head in just one single day, and most of those thoughts are all negative. They're not positive. So try to understand yourself in terms of, like, okay, this is how I work. So what am I going to put in place so that I can manage this? And it doesn't mean that manage. Okay, the key word is manage. We're not here trying to change overnight and trying to you know trying to just magically become another person overnight. because we picked up a book and we read like 5 pages and all of a sudden now I got this info, so I should be able to go like that and click my fingers and become another person. No, it doesn't. But it just doesn't work like that. We need to have things in place so that we can manage moving forward, not staying stagnant in the same place where we are right now. Do you know what I mean? The sooner you realize that there's a lot of things that you can control, and there are a lot of things that you can't control, but you focus more on the things you can control, life is going to get so much more better for you. So life is going to go from here to over here. Super quick. Super quick. Super quick. No exaggeration, super quick. Everything will change drastically, and you're gonna feel like a different person. You're gonna feel like, oh, like, why was I doing that before anyways? Do you know what I mean? Why was I even, do you know what I mean? Like, so don't feel overwhelmed. Try not to make yourself feel overwhelmed, people, okay? Try not to make yourself feel overwhelmed, because at the end of the day, just, there's ways. There's always a way. There's always a way forward. There is always a way. So sticking to your schedule, will make you feel like in control of your life, having things in place, right? My course does have a 5-step discipline system to make this easy. I know, I will talk about it more on later. But just so that everything's possible, you don't necessarily need me to tell you step by step, because I know that you're going to be the best person for that, because you know yourself better than I know you. I'm not going to know everyone behind the screen, right? So, anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is just calling to action and closing, and just stay consistent with all the things that you're trying to do, not just with this. Because if you're able to put discipline into other things outside of what we're doing here, then you're going to be able to bring that discipline right back here, right? If you've been a disciplined person with going to the gym for the last 10 months or the last how many years, I know those people are going to have an easier time than other people that haven't been able to stay disciplined with other things, other than mandatory things like, getting to work on time. That's not a thing. Do you know what I mean? That's not being disciplined. That's an obligation. Somebody else is telling you to get to work on time. If you need to be at work at 11 a.m., you're going to have to be at work at 11 a.m., right? You're not going to, do you know what I mean? So what's more important here is that, what I'm trying to get at is that a person who goes to gym every day, a person who's able to stay consistent with that for weeks and months and years, has done that out of their own free will. They're not relying on somebody else to tell them to do that, right? They're telling themselves, they have programmed themselves to do that. And that's exactly what I'm trying to install into you guys. Because when you put on a trade, when you're thinking about putting on a trade, when you're closing a trade, when you're doing whatever, when it comes to putting anything to do with trading, anyways, mind that. But anyways, you know what I mean? It's like, it's going to come down to you. No one else is going to tell you. No one else should be opinionating whether you put, like, the main person who's riding that trade is you. So you have the last verdict, you have the last say, and you have the last action. You make the last act and you make it worthwhile, because nobody else's judgment is going to be able to judge you for whether you're trading properly or whether you're not. Because this is an independent thing for everyone. Everyone's style of trading is independent to the other person. It's not a thing where one style of trading, it fits one shoe and it's for everyone. No, that is not the right thing. That just doesn't make any sense. We all have different upbringings. We all have different paths of life, or walks of life. We all come from different walks of life, and it's just something that you just need to really just understand about yourself. And so I know you guys are able to do this. I know I haven't been putting out all the videos consistently lately, but I have been caught up with some other business and some other stuff that I'm dealing with. But anyways, I am going to have another video come out soon. That's going to be all about unlocking wealth and patience. Remember how I mentioned patience a couple minutes ago? that's what it's going to really be about. And if you just want to go deeper into whatever, just feel free to check down below in the description. And I'll catch you guys on another video. Shout out to everyone who keeps tuning in. Leave a comment anyways. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.